on Ehrlich, I'd have to make a right-hand turn if I wanted to go towards Del Mabry, and I can sit in bumper-to-bumper traffic all the way to Turner. And then you got the traffic from Turner to Hutchinson, then you got the traffic from Hutchinson to Pennington, then you got the traffic from Pennington up to where Casey's at. At every single point, you are sitting in gridlock traffic. And I don't see anything about how that's going to be alleviated. And if it's alleviated, I want to know what's going to happen with stormwater management. Because all that's being taken away is land, 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 and these drainage ponds are not the answer. I mean, we're taking away. I'm just very concerned about the direction and what seems to me the lack of communication and coordination with the development in this area.
Not really going to appeal to anyone's emotions here. I'm not really an emotional person. Can you switch it back to the summary page between the three different plans, please? Thank you. Okay. So you have approved for 221 apartments, correct?
Correct.
So these plans, if anyone noticed, I don't think anyone stated it before, but you're looking to increase that number by about 40 apartments. So this is not done in the best interest of the community. You're looking to pack more apartments in that same amount of space.
And get rid of 40,000 square feet of apartment. That's right.
Still more units, more money for you guys. Just looking at the math section, not really looking at the emotional side. There's a lot of math in here that you guys are avoiding. Please look into the math. There's a lot more stuff that we're missing. That's just one of them. I have to take care of my dog. But again, they're looking to make a profit off of this. This is a profitable venture. That's what you need to look at. Have a good day.
Thank you. Good. My name is Leon. I have been in the area now for about 8 years. I have lived a mile away from the trailhead for that entire time, and I've logged thousands of miles on this trail and other trails throughout the state. What I can tell you, and the reason why you're getting the fight you are, is because when somebody says, this is one of the nicest trails we have, that's not a lie, right? Of all the trails we have around this state, I've ridden from here to the Space Coast, Pinellas Trail. What we have right here, even though it's less than maybe 10 miles, this is one of the nicest trails we have around. So by moving this, even though it's at the beginning, and these people will tell you, we gave the restaurant a hard time when they wanted to cross the trail, and that only affected the last 500 feet. You know, so for you guys to come in and then want to move it completely, understand that's why you're getting a hard time, okay? Because this really is a great trail for this community. I'm on it Saturday mornings. I was on it today, and there was people out there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't ask me what I do, but it's truly a high traffic area. What I do want to ask, though, to get some clarification on it, and Deputy Commissioner, maybe you can answer this. When there is a proposed trail crossing, what is that approval process? Is that just simply put forth and then accepted?
So first of all, I'm not a commissioner. I'm not as exalted as our commissioners. The proposal, as we explained earlier, is only that it's a proposal. What they're looking to do is use some county property to, in their estimation, make a better development for the community. We're not here to pass judgment as staff on that proposal. There's a rezoning process that would take place if the commission allows this proposal to move forward. We would be able to sign the rezoning. The county would be able to sign the rezoning certificate. All that means is that it's scheduled for rezoning hearings. It's a very lengthy, long process, lots of public input. This is by no means the be-all and end-all. So
right.
The proposal or the discussion is happening because the board told us to go out, convene a meeting, have the developer show up and present options that they believe would be beneficial for the community.
Okay.
Clearly, there's a difference of opinion on that. I will tell you that we will faithfully record your comments, present them to the board, and make sure that they understand what you said tonight. if they were to authorize this land to be included in the rezoning application, there are multiple opportunities for you to continue to engage.
So when somebody says that the county owns 80 feet,
Yes.
that is an 80 foot wide strip the whole
That is
way.
correct.
And the trail only accounts for 15 of those feet, correct?
Yes, that
Yeah.
generally speaking, Forrest, I don't know if there's a difference, it varies in some areas, but generally speaking, it's an 80-foot right-of-way. I think actually in this area, it's about 70 feet.
Does that take it, is the trail down the center of that or off to one side, do you know?
Again,
I
it
realize,
varies, right, but it's within.
because this
that
also
right-of-way.
affects how that land is used, right? If we're talking about 80 feet, that's a pretty wide spot to
That's correct.
still be able to put retail on the outside and be able to,
So currently, as has been discussed, the
Yep.
Citrus Park Village Plan called for commercial to be right along Gun Highway. That was done 15 years ago, and I'm sure some of you at least weren't here at that point. So when you see a plan like that today, and a developer comes in and says, we want to build to the plan, we are obligated as staff, since it's an adopted community plan that the board adopted, we're obligated to review the application in that framework. Doesn't mean that we can't have a conversation, in fact, we do all the time, with developers about what we believe would be beneficial for the community. I am certain that that will continue to happen in this process if there's a rezoning application. I hope I've answered your question.
you have, thank you. Ms. Kemp?
You did a good job. I just want to add to that. I am, again, the outlier on the board. I'm also an attorney. And I called up some attorneys and asked them very specific questions because I didn't feel like I was necessarily getting the answers that were exactly accurate, you know, from my own staff. And I'll say that I kind of felt blindsided by this. I learned about it the Tuesday before the Thursday meeting. And could get very little information because it was a rezoning where we were supposed to be quasi-judicial. So I was trying to screen myself. I couldn't, it was just a confusing situation. So I know it's confusing to you all, but I want to say this. I've looked at it very closely, and I do not believe, and I think we'll find this out, that I was told, and I know many of you were told, that there were entitlements to multiple crossings. There are already 3 crossings that were in that zoning, and there is no entitlement, I do not believe, to the kind of crossing that they're talking about with thousands of cars going across the trail every day. That is an utter destruction of the trail, I totally believe, but I don't, and I say this legally. And I say it as an attorney, having reviewed this by wiser people than me in terms of knowing that area of the law. And this is a difference that we have, but I know it was something that I believe, misinformed about. So that, and the other thing I think I know that there's a zoning that allows certain entitlements, but those entitlements are you can only take those entitlements if you can actually use them within the space that you have. So that's a question, whatever is said about that, I think if we say it needs to be developed in the footprint it has with the road to the north to Ehrlich, which is what makes sense to me. And I do think, honestly, you have a lovely piece of land. There could be a lovely, incredible development there. I don't know if you all know about Beltline in Atlanta. It's a bicycle pedestrian trail that goes around the city of Atlanta. It's amazing. They just developed that in the last few years. It was an old rail track, also an old transit track, and guess what? There's prices for homes and apartments and everything on that trail is skyrocketing. They cannot keep it down. It is the most loved place, and they have a lantern festival every September or so where people homemade their lanterns at night on Labor Day, I think it is. And they had 2,000 come the first year, some 6 or 7 years ago, 4,000 the next year. Last year, they had 80,000 people on that trail. It is the most loved, incredible spot, and I'd like to see that here in Hillsborough County and Tampa Bay.
So one of the things that I just want to clarify is that, so you're of the opinion that we do not have
I would say you don't have a legal standing to have all those cars cross it. There is one more crossing allowed that was supposed to be for some single-family homes for a few cars, you know, maybe like 20 cars for some single-family homes. So no, I don't think that you can. I think that is very contestable, and I don't believe. Yeah, no.
But for the commercial part of the property, we could access by Gun Highway, right?
Right.
Okay, and then you're just saying to access the apartment portion,
You need to go Ehrlich Road.
You don't think we can trust it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
I agree.
If only I got that response when I showed up at home. I want to make sure that everybody, just timekeeping, just want to make sure everybody has an opportunity, so I'm not going to stand up here for more than 10 seconds, but let's be mindful that it's 20 till, so if you have comments, please make them.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Warren Stovall. I live over in the Clearwater area. I represent tonight the Suncoast Sierra Club, which is the Pinellas County. I also ride the trail and know of its beauty as well as we have them. This one is one of my top trails, and I was appalled by the devastation of the tree foliage with the development of the hotels. And so I came over to listen to what was going on. And I'm now appalled that you would propose something that puts public safety at risk. 300,000 is what I heard. 300,000 people you would put at risk with crossing the trail, right? And now I've heard children run on the trail. The schools use the trail. So that number of 300 could go up another 100,000. And you're going to put 400,000 people at risk? It's appalling to me. Thank you.
Agreed.
Hi, my name is Eileen Robbins. I live in Odessa. I don't get the chance to come down here on this part of the trail too often because there's no connector from Van Dyke to get on to come further, but I have been on it, and it is gorgeous, and I was looking forward to being able to do that. Everybody's made some really good points, but I have a different thing to ask you is, have they considered the fact that when people move into an area, they always want to live on the conservation area, on the lake, on somewhere that they don't have so much traffic and, not commercial, but traffic and they have some nature. So I'm thinking, have the powers that be doing the apartments or whatever comes back there thought about turning it into a place that has that as a selling point, that this is the trail you can get right on, and maybe make a few other areas in there that have a nice